Welcome to Hustle Faithfully Podcast, where determination meets devotion.
Follow us across all streaming platforms at bit.ly/podcast-links. This morning, as we continue our series of Burnout to Breakthrough, we are bringing to you another absolutely incredible guest this morning. When you want direct answers to the tough challenges in order to get results you are looking for in your life, Paul Finck is the one you want. He has worked with individuals and companies all over the world on finding unconventional answers to everyday challenges. Paul Finck currently coaches entrepreneurs and small to mid-sized companies on how to double their results via private and group coaching sessions. And he appears on stages around the world speaking on using unconventional methods to create and build a business, motivate yourself and your team, eliminating your fears, sales persuasion and influence for success, networking, managing your time, invest in real estate, living the life of your dreams, and quantum leap your success. We'd like to welcome this morning the one and the only, the Maverick Millionaire himself, Mr. Paul Finck. Welcome to the Hustle Faithfully Podcast.
Welcome.
Well, we are continuing the series of Burnout to Breakthrough, and our incredible guests are telling our listeners and our viewers alike about stories where they felt the perceived feeling of burnout and exactly what you do in order to move through that burnout to reach the success pinnacles that you are experiencing in your life today.
I got to tell you, burnout comes in so many different forms and so many different ways. We feel like we're, the setbacks, the challenges, call it what you will, the overwhelm even. And sometimes burnout happens even before you get started. You just the beginning stages. I've been an entrepreneur for 36 years. My whole career has been this possibility of starting, getting ready to start, getting in the game, having collapses, having failures, having challenges, feeling like you're starting over all over again, over and over and over again. And how do you overcome that? I remember when I first got started, I got started right out of college and went right into the entrepreneurial game. Again, 36 years, my whole career doing it on my own. And I got this first job. It was kind of a job, but it was straight commission. So it wasn't really a job. I had no W-2. It wasn't salaried. And so it was straight commission position. And just the challenge of getting going, of getting up and starting to knock on doors. And within a short period of time, most people feel that overwhelm of, is someone ever going to say yes?
Right.
And that, it doesn't matter. And I've experienced that over and over and over again. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. And most people think that the burnout means that, you're devastated. You're almost destitute. You're almost living on the street, if not already on the street. And you get that feel. No, man, I've coached and in just my own experience and coaching others, coached people that were making millions. And yet they still felt that setback, that challenge, because yesterday they made, 1.3 million and today they're only making 1.1. It's that kind of setback, that the idea that you're not doing as well as you were yesterday. And so it shows up in a lot of different ways. I remember I got started, and within a year I had a scenario where I was able to get started in my own business. So I went from straight commission into building my own, and got started. I was 22 years old, hooked up with another guy who was, I think, a year younger than me. So he was barely 21. And the two of us got together and built this business.
Wow.
And so overnight, we had this business. We're the CEOs now. And we had 7 salespeople working for us. 7 salespeople that were 10, 20, 25 years our senior. And I was like, felt a little overwhelmed, a little like, who am I supposed to be asking questions to? I'm supposed to know all the answers, but I'm 22 and I couldn't do it. And that business ended up collapsing over that next year, skyrocketed to success and then major collapse. That was a setback. That was an overwhelm. That was a major challenge. And one of the things I started to do, so this is first step for anybody that's out there. You got to get with people. One of the biggest challenges that happens when we're in setback is that we isolate ourselves. That we go, we cover up. No one will understand. I don't want to face anyone. They expected more of me and all this chit chat that we have in our head, and we'll isolate ourselves for 100 different reasons. We've got to get with people. Because the best way to get out of, and I've got a psychology degree. I was trained to be a clinical psychologist, and setback and depression are really close cousins, if you will. How do you get out of that kind of feeling? You got to go serve others. Wow. You got to go and reach out, and the first step is be with others and then see what you can do for them. And when you look in the mirror and you go, I don't know what to do for myself, start thinking about others. And it pulls you out of that internal process and puts you into the external. And so it pulls you out of yourself, if you will. Your brain will work against you. You've got to get outside of your own head.
Nice.
And so go hang out with others, go serve others. One of the best things that you can do in any time that you're feeling challenged like that.
Paul, quick question.
Yeah.
Does it matter to the people that are listening who you serve and how you serve, just as long as you serve?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's, it'd be great. Serve the people that are really in need. Serve the people that you could really help. Serve your loved ones. Serve the people in your community. However, you've got to get out of yourself. The biggest challenge that most of us have is that we believe our internal brain has all the answers. We believe that, we got this and we can figure this out. And the truth be told is that we cannot. Einstein says you cannot solve the challenge with the same brain that created it.
Oh, wow.
And so we get in our heads and we think, we've got this, we can do this. And yet the truth is that we cannot. So getting out of our own thoughts, getting away from that time where we just isolate ourselves and we're within our own brain is really key to overcoming these challenges, depression, overwhelm, setbacks, all these components.
Wow.
It's great.
Wow.
So get out of your own way, get out of your own head, and put the focus on others to pull yourself out of depression or setback. And that is the secret, man. That right there, in and of itself, just within the first 10 minutes of this show, there's a mic drop for you right there.
Yeah. It's one of the things that, and the biggest challenge is that it's the hardest thing to do, right? It's the thing that I'm not facing anyone. I'm not telling anyone. I'm not talking to anyone. And so to really stretch yourself and get with others is really key. The idea, I also want to touch on this idea of setback and the strength that it takes, the courage that it takes to move forward and what it takes to pick yourself up. And most people talk about like this leap of faith.
Right.
And the idea that if you're in business, we've talked about this. If you're in any sort of challenge, there's at some point where you've got to take a leap of faith, a leap of courage. You've got to just go to the unknown. You've got to move to a place you've never been before to kind of to shift gears, to shift what's happening in your life, to create something new. And that takes a lot of strength, a lot of courage. And again, with having people around you, I was just touring around, and we were talking a lot about Think and Grow Rich. And there's a whole tour of speakers from that institute, the Think and Grow Rich Institute. And one of the concepts is masterminding. And the understanding that the collaborative of more than one brain creates more than the adding of each of those brains. It's the back and forth. It's the two of you had created this together, and there's a reason why both of you are there. It's because the two of you together is greater than the sum of its parts. And the masterminding ideas, the concepts of getting with a group of people and trading thoughts and trading ideas is where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
And so getting yourself out of your own head, going in and engaging with others, and then sharing what's going on with you, and watch the magic happen as all the synapses start interconnecting with one another and creating new ideas.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And, you know, everybody that is listening, if you are looking for a dynamic, powerful speaker to come to your mastermind and speak, for our viewers, there is a QR code in the upper corner. Just go ahead and scan that. That'll take you over to Paul's website. Other than that, you can go to paulfinck.com. Do you have any other, I mean, I know you have a lot of other websites, but do you have any other websites that you want to push to get people to you?
Yeah, I've got, you know, one of the things to overcome this whole concept of burnout is to understand how to manage the time that you have. All too often there's a component of I don't have enough time to get out of my own way. I don't have enough time to solve the challenges that are facing me. I don't have. And so getting clear with what time really is and how to take care of it. And so I've got a whole ebook on Maverick Time, where you magically create hours in your day. And it's a multimedia ebook. It's got video in it. It's got some audio, definitely a book that comes with it. Really key information on how to, coming at it from multiple different ways, how to really get power over and control over the time that we're given every day. And so if you go to maverickoffer.com, and you go there, you'll get the ebook on Maverick Time, really get clear with your time management, your time prioritization, understanding some of the key components that really create a valuation of your time. And on top of that, there's also time with me. And it's one of the things that I've gone through the test of time. I've been doing this for a long time. And with that, it's time to give back in multitude. And so for anyone out there that's looking to build a business, looking to create a new life, looking to strategize as to where they could go next, offering up my time, come consult with me.
Awesome.
Let's spend some time together. And this is all free service for everybody.
Incredible. Awesome. Make sure to go to maverickoffer.com to take advantage of this offer. What more stories do you have? Because I know with all of your years of what you do, there's many more.
So the next piece of this is that all this strategizing and understanding on how to get out of your own way and how to come back from this burnout scenario is that, sorry to tell you, it doesn't just happen once.
Right.
It's one of those things where people talk about, take this leap of faith. And they never quite tell you that it's take a leap of faith, take a leap of faith, take a leap of faith, take a leap of faith. And you guys have gone through it too, this understanding that we're constantly moving and creating a plateau in our life. And either you're moving backwards or you're moving forwards. And so whenever we hit that plateau, what's happening really is that we are going backwards, that we're starting to falter from our course, our direction, and our fullest potential.
Wow.
And so we've got to learn how to quantum leap, how to move past that status quo, the plateau, the comfort zone, because it's devastating us. It's what is the beginning stages. As soon as you feel like you've done the same thing over and over again, as soon as you feel like this year is looking the same as last year, be warned, red lights should be flying everywhere, because you're at the cusp of starting to go backwards. You're at the cusp of things not going your way, of not accomplishing, of not feeling the same greatness in where you are, and the plateau starts, and that means the devastation is coming.
Wow.
You've got to be striving for the next level. And so this idea of leap of faith happens over and over and over again in your career. Again, almost 4 decades of being in this entrepreneurial journey. And I got to tell you, the latest one, and I've had several of the burnout to just greatness. One of which over the years really catapulted me into the life I now have, is that I was feeling a little overwhelmed in that I've got a family situation, and I don't mean to move this into anybody else, but you want real motivation. I've got 6 children. I've got 3 sets of twins.
Wow.
And that alone, man, catapulted me into this idea of, okay, I can either be devastated, setback, challenge for the rest of my life, or I got to step up. I got to create more in my world.
Wow.
And that was now 22 years ago. My youngest just turned 22 last week, and I can't believe it. But that started this journey of really understanding the process to go through, because for me, it was a must. Now I help people do it so that they can get through those similar challenges of not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to make it happen, and how to move past all that without total devastation.
Right.
Paul, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. What I want to say is that what you just said just now, what came to my mind was all those moments where you said, as you said, it'll happen more than once, setbacks and challenges. But have you seen that people can sometimes misidentify a setback and see it only as a setback rather than a course correction? Because sometimes a course correction is needed.
That is that's extremely common, and it is that every single time I would challenge you, every single time it is a course correction that's needed. Every single time. And whenever you're looking at it and saying it's a setback, it's a failure, it is a matter of course correction. Look at what happened.
Wow.
And one of the things that became universal for all of us was COVID. The big C in our life. And COVID was a period of time where everybody had to eat, and they had 2 choices. Either this was a setback, or it was an opportunity, one way or the other. And we know people who looked at it one way or the other.
Yeah.
And sometimes both. And the understanding on how to move through that, and I got to tell you, for me, it was, I had the big C in double doses. The same day we had a lockdown for COVID. This is March of 2020, is the same time period that my wife was diagnosed with cancer within the same week. She was in open heart surgery the day before the lockdown. She was in intensive care when I got kicked out of the hospital.
Wow.
This was insane. And I also had a career. My whole business at the time was focused on live events. I was speaking all around the world. And so traveling a lot. Fortunately, my wife worked with me, so we were traveling all over the place together and having a blast and really living the life that we wanted to live when COVID and cancer hit into our life. And it's been a now 3+ year journey on both of these. Man, COVID was easy to overcome. The cancer, it's taken a little bit, and she just got a clean bill of health. God bless.
Amen.
And
That's good.
doing great, but it's been a journey.
Wow.
And so the concept that when I say she had cancer, she had one of the rarest cancers in the world. Stage 4 cancer was when we first noticed, rushing to open heart surgery. And she's had 2 open heart surgeries in the last 3 years.
Wow.
This was major, almost died 5 different times over the last 3 years.
Wow.
So with all of that, COVID was easy. And so how do you come through? I thought it was a 1-2 punch right to my stomach when that week was just immense. Yeah. And it took a couple of weeks to kind of come out from under the covers, to recognize, okay, I can't stay under the covers. I've got to figure out what to do, and what to do with the business, what to do with the family. I had 6 kids that their mother was sick, and what's that feel like? And what do I do as the leader of the family? What do I do in supporting all of them and making sure that we overcome from this setback so that it doesn't devastate us, but we come out of it with some power, some grace. And it was the first time in many years that I went back to the basics. And the basics in how do you build, how do you pick yourself up, and this topic of going from burnout and how do you overcome that is exactly what I was feeling at the time. And so what were some of the basics? And one, get out of your own head and get in with people. 2 is get really clear with what you want. Most people are, it's kind of like they get in their car, they start moving, yet they drive around the block a few times and they start figuring out, oh, where am I going? What am I doing? That's how they run their life.
Wow.
And we've all seen it. People kind of like they're just going through the motions, but they really don't know where they're going. And so getting really clear, what is it that you want? What is it? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What would be the 360-degree vision of your life? If you teleported yourself into your life 5 years from now, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Where would you be living? What would be your surroundings? What would be your bank account? Who would be your friends? What would you do from the moment you woke up to the moment you went to bed? Like, really think about who it is that you want to be. And so that's something that very few people spend some quality time doing. Really important. And once you know what you want, write it down. Write down exactly what it is. And then decide. And this is really key. Decide what it is, how committed you are to that goal. All right. So how many people, when we've heard that, I want to be a millionaire.
Right.
All right. How committed are you to get up early, stay late, do the task every single day to create that in your life?
Yeah.
All the people are like, yeah. I want to be a millionaire, but today I'm going to go party. I want to be a millionaire, but I'm rested in for Saturday and Sunday. I want to be a millionaire, and there's a comma, not a period. You want something, and I say millionaire just because it's an easy thing to talk about.
Right.
But it could be anything. You want better relationships. You want more friends in your life. Yeah, but I'm not going to return any phone calls. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
Right.
I'm not going to actually go in and take care of things for a friend just because they need help, and it would be an imposition on me, so I'm not going to do it. The choices that we make every day create the life that we have. So what's your commitment level to that life? What's your commitment level to making those things happen? And here's the challenge. You write it down. Here are my goals. Then you put next to it on a scale of 1 to 10, put a number next to it. What's my commitment level to each one of those things? Some people say, I've got an 8 on this one, a 7. This one's a 9.5, man. I'm really going for it. Unless it's a 10, give it up.
Okay.
Just cross it off your list. Because whatever could keep you from going forward, whatever could stop you from taking action, it's going to show up. And that little piece, that pebble in the road, will keep you from moving forward when it's anything more or anything less than a 10. It's got to be a 10 or bust. And that's really key. And most people don't have that kind of commitment for anything.
No.
Oh, yeah. New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to go to the gym every day. And that lasts, 1.2 days?
Right.
Yeah, if that.
When you write that down, if your commitment was a level 10, that you'll do whatever it takes to lose that weight.
Yeah.
That you'll do whatever it takes to get in shape, that you'll do whatever it takes to make sure you're at that gym every day. Man, that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Scream it from the rooftops. Tell everybody yep, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing every day. You hold me accountable. Matter of fact, I'll pay you millions of dollars. I don't do that. Just, put it on the line.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm not doing that. That's crazy stuff.
Right.
Well, then you end up with the life that you have. You want to overcome setback. You want to overcome challenges. These are the things that make the difference.
Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
Paul, you shared some things with us just now that if people aren't writing this down and really accumulating the knowledge right now that's needed to go from burnout to breakthrough, you're taking advantage of this moment now and every resource that you have. I don't know what someone's doing.
I know, right?
I don't know what they want out of life. I mean, there's no excuse. Everything you said, the 6 kids, your wife battling cancer and winning during COVID, I can relate to being in business during COVID and having my wife have a cancer diagnosis and having to fight against thinking that she was going to die.
Right.
That I had that same experience, not with the rare form of cancer, but she had stage 3 ovarian cancer. And it was the second time in a 3-year period. And so I understand how you had to push through. You couldn't quit. We have 8 kids between the two of us, we're a blended family. And we had 6 or 7 in the house at one time. So, Paul, hearing you say these things, no one has an excuse for quitting. Right. If you didn't quit in the face of that, no one else has an excuse to quit. So I just wanted to say to you, I commend you for what you've overcome and how you never made an excuse and you didn't quit on yourself, your family, or your wife.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to just say, brother, I commend you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that story.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sharing yours. It's few people really get, and I shared it in very quickly just now and breeze through it because sometimes it's more than people want to hear.
Yeah.
Frankly. And most people, and I appreciate, Ricardo, you sharing, because most people really don't get the power and perseverance that it takes to overcome most people at any one of those things, whether it was COVID, whether it was 6 kids or 7 or 8 and or their wife being sick. Any one of those things usually takes people out of the game.
Yeah.
And they use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
In the Maverick community, we talk a lot about this is a no excuse zone.
Mm.
There is no excuses in
Yeah.
life. You either have results or you have excuses. Choose one.
Mm.
And so we talk about that a ton. And I could have easily used my kids, my wife being sick, COVID, any one of those things as the excuse why I deserve to be destitute. I deserve to be get handouts. I deserve to be a victim, and all versus recognizing that I have the strength within myself
Mm.
to overcome all adversity. I have the
Mhm.
strength within myself to move forward and to move past all these setbacks. And so the question is, well, how? How do I make that happen? Well, I found great people around me, and I have for decades now, bringing in mentors and coaches and advisors and support teams, and knowing how to pull all those people together to be there for me and for me to then be there for them.
Mm.
And it's really key to understand that you want, there are people here to help you get.
Mhm.
You desire more, you desire something different, you want to understand how to build up that strength within you and how to create more in your world. We're all here. And there's so many people that have been through it and conquered that there's no excuse anymore.
Right.
Come forward. Let's build this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I love how you said, unless it's a 10, give it up. Because that 9, even though that is so high on the scale, that's your little pebble that's going to throw you off. I'm sure that we've all had the experience where we are driving, everything's going fine, and then your car kind of swerves a little bit. It's because you hit a pebble, or God forbid, your tire's low, and you start swerving.
Yep.
And that's the same thing, is that little pebble will throw you off. It's a 10 or a bust.
Mm.
Either do it or get it off your list. That was so empowering and so impactful, because again, you think, this 7, this 8, this 9, they're good enough, but
Right.
good enough leads to failure.
It's actually the Achilles heel for most people
Mhm.
because they believe that 9 is good enough.
Yeah.
And that's their weakness.
Yeah.
Is that they don't recognize that they're actually fighting against themselves. They don't recognize that that they're, going the distance and stopping at the 1 yard line doesn't get the touchdown.
Right.
Wow.
And that's how most people live.
Yeah.
And it's where the devastation happens. And when I say it's their Achilles heel, it's when 3 feet from gold kicks in.
Mm.
It's when they feel that overwhelm, they feel that setback, they feel that challenge, and like, all of a sudden you start hearing, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you gave up. Well, what do you
Right.
mean it wasn't meant to be? You stopped. And understanding it's that 1 yard line that you're sitting on.
Yeah.
And how to move the ball that extra yard. How do you get that to happen?
Wow.
And
Wow.
so much of it comes from within, and you've got to learn that game. I've studied if your audience understands neurolinguistic programming,
Mhm.
hypnotherapy, understanding how the brain works, and of course psychology and social psychology and the engagement of communication and humor and human interaction for the last 40 years. And in all those studies, it starts from within. That every success story has to do with how you internalize, how you process information, how you process the material that's being presented, and how you're processing the engagement of the world. We all, I believe, do we curse on this show? I believe, shit happens to everybody, and with that, it's an equal opportunity giver.
Right.
And So then what do you do with it when it does? And
Right.
that makes the difference. It's your reaction to life. It's not life itself. It's how you engage with it that makes the difference to where you end up.
Mm.
And
Mm.
keep on keeping on.
Wow.
You've got to keep moving. You've got to take that the strength and the courage from within and go the next level.
Oh, go ahead.
You've made a comment multiple times. It's from within.
Mm-hmm.
It's internal. Unless you're in the depressive state, then turn external. Yet the answers are internal. You have to surround yourself with the correct people to pour into you so that you can understand those gaps, because none of us know it all. But yet it's internal. It all starts right here in the mind. It all starts or ends right here in the mind, because this is also where some people say, well, it wasn't meant to be, like you said earlier. So you got to push through it and say it might not be meant to be right this second, but it's still there. It's in the process of unfolding. It is meant to be. It's just there's a process to get to where it is, whatever it is for you. So that is really deep. You gotta know it inside first. That's where it all starts.
It's interesting as you say that. One of the things that happens is that people believe that when they change course, that's them stopping, that's them quitting, that's them doing all the things that are the negative words that we have in our life.
Right.
The understanding that you start off with a goal, you start off with an end in mind. Here is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you set on a course to get there. And just like if we're on a road trip and we're going from, New York to LA, and well, on the road trip, we might end up with roads that are blocked, that have changed course, that there's construction, there's an accident. Does that mean we stop and we, like, I don't know, live in Kansas now? Like, we don't further our journey. We don't go back. We just sit there.
Right.
We find another way. We do a course correction, but it doesn't stop us from ever getting to our destination.
Right.
And that is where one of the things that I experience with people as I'm coaching them all around the country is that they take any sort of roadblock as well, like we said, right? Maybe it wasn't meant to be, or then they internalize it. I'm a failure. I'll never make this happen. It can't happen for me. Or they start blaming the world as to all their angst in the world, and it's all working against me, versus just change direction, go a different road. Some course correction along the way is bound to happen, but never take your eye off the ball. Never stop with the focus of, I'm going to get to LA.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there. I'm driving there, and I'm going to get there one way or the other. And whatever roadblock happens, there's a way through it.
Yeah.
So we've got a principle in the Maverick community. There's a solution to every challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolute. I've never seen that not happen. There's always a solution. Now it's up to you to find it.
Yes.
How can I?
How can I? That is a question that can keep you going, that can keep you propelled. I am 20 years in business, and if I could, I have 6 children myself. And of course, they're a lot of my driving force as well. And if I was to go back to the early stages of my business, probably year one of the things that has kept me in business, no doubt, was I read a little book. It's a new book to the market. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And very few people have ever heard of it. You should get it. In there, Kiyosaki talks about the why is more important than the how. And, that was my biggest takeaway from that entire book. There was a lot of nuggets in that book. However, the why is more important than the how. And I remember I was 19 years old when I started my business. And I remember I was at a club with a girl, and it was called Club Europe. It's here in Atlanta, called Club Europe. It's no longer there. And I remember her making a comment to me one time. She said, Jonathan, why don't you come out and party like most people do? You know, that was a very rare occurrence. I've never really been a clubbing person, but I went that night. And I told her, I said, the reason why is because you're going to Club Europe right now. I want to go to Europe to go to clubs. And it's there. At that point, there was my why in the moment. Now, I've never been to a club in Europe, probably never will either. But it was just the thing of my vision is so much larger than where you're at and where your vision is. No knock toward her. It's okay. Everybody has different visions. But, you know, it's all about gaining that clarity. And where is that road trip of life like you were talking about earlier? And of course, I've hit detours. I've hit closed roads. I've hit, you know, I'm driving and my GPS says that this is the way you go. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, there's a cliff here. If I keep driving, I'm dead.
Right.
But then you just go around.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is so empowering what you have said and what you've shared with us.
Yeah.
We've got to get you to a club in Europe now. I think that's our goal.
There we go.
I got a whole new purpose.
Right.
Maybe we can go out to Europe together, Paul, and just enjoy a club one night. You look like a hardcore clubber, much like myself.
Here. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Clubbing. Yeah. I'm definitely, you know, my wife and I have been together. We started dating 36 years ago.
Wow.
My kids are amazing now. They're 6 kids within 6 years of one another. So
wow.
It's 22, 23, and 27 now. And they're all powerhouse, contributing members to society. Just amazing. Some of my best testimonials. God bless. They were the guinea pigs for everything else that I coach and train on. I've built multiple $1 million businesses now and lived a blessed life. Being able to travel. Yes, I've been in clubs in Europe. Yes, we've traveled all around the world. And the ability to be able to do that, the ability to be able to create that with even 6 kids in tow, has been an amazing career, both in coaching, speaking, training, real estate. And I've been in multiple distribution companies over the years in multiple different industries and been playing at this level for 16 years now as a coach and trainer all around the country. And what all this has taught me is, one, you cannot do it alone.
Right.
You've got to create that team of people. You've got to create that group. You've got to continue to understand that there's a collaborative world that we're in, and to continue to collaborate with people every day. And that you've got to have a real, and I was joking about our purpose in life now is to bring you clubbing in Europe. Well, you've got to have a purpose. And unless you can clarify what is it that you want, that you're living for, what is the reason why you're on this earth, it's time to start doing some work in that arena. What's your purpose? What is your driving force? What's the reason why you're here? I promise you, every single person here has a purpose. And when you have that, everything else becomes easier. I was talking to a couple great people, and I've got several names in my head, and so I won't say any of them. And we were talking and we were masterminding about this concept of people getting tired and people getting overwhelmed and, oh, they need their sleep. Well, every person that is purposeful, that lives a purposeful, intentional life, doesn't need sleep. I interview them and I talk to them all the time, and we're always kind of scratching our head. I go on very little sleep on a regular basis, and people are always like, "How do you do that?" I was like, "I got too much going on. I got too much I want to do." What do you mean sleep? That's an inconvenience. Let's get moving.
Right.
And most people, when you really get clear and you're doing what you love.
Mm. Yeah.
You're feeling great. You're on in the zone. You don't go, oh no. I'm tired now. Gotta stop. No,
Right.
all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. You're like, how'd it get so late? Oh my gosh. And you lose track of time.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's when you know
Yeah.
that whatever you were doing, that was thrilling you. That was exciting. That was the adventure that you were meant to go on. And when you find it for on a regular basis, where day in and day out you're feeling that way,
Mm-hmm.
that's purposeful intent.
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow.
And you don't need the what most people, you need sleep, you need the rest. I had somebody ask me recently who's wasn't that much older than me, maybe 5-10 years older than me. Like, oh, when are you going to slow down? I was like, slow down? I'm just revving up. Are you kidding?
Started.
I'm just getting started. I just turned 59.
Mm.
And the idea that retirement might be within the next 5-6 years is insane. I'm in the middle of launching a couple new businesses. We are launching a few new divisions. We are doing just amazing things. That this is another 10-20 year journey just with the projects I'm starting now. Like, get clear.
Right.
What do you want?
Right.
Build today.
Build today.
Wow. Well, the one thing that you just said, that last statement you made to everybody that's listening, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Have you gotten clear on what the goal or what the vision is? Have you evaluated your level of commitment? And are you hitting these roadblocks that Paul has mentioned will happen to all of us? And because you're not partnered with powerful people that help elevate your thinking, you're repeating the roadblocks mentally rather than rerouting and redirecting.
Oh.
So it's akin to someone backing up at a roadblock, half a mile, and then driving back towards the same roadblock, hoping it'll disappear. You're repeating it. So I'm hoping that you all have heard everything Paul has said in this podcast this morning, because he has given you every single tool you need to change the way you think and to pursue purpose. Partnership, not on your own, but partnership, so that you get the right information at the right time and you have the right reasons and the right purpose.
That's right.
So, Paul, thank you for everything you're sharing. And if you got anything else, I'm not trying to stop you now. Now, if you got anything else to share, but before we get off.
Yeah, come hang out. It's one of the reasons why I offer up what I do. And so literally a consultation. And for all of you, I had somebody get on the phone the other day, and they had gotten signed up and registered and went to my calendar, got a consultation. We set up some time on my calendar and we got on the phone, and they're like, it's really you.
Yeah.
You showed up. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Who are you expecting?
Right.
And they expect somebody different.
Yeah.
I built my businesses and delegate. If you can't tell, I love this.
Yeah.
I love the engagement with people. I love especially helping people in coaching and training and helping inspire people to their fullest potential. Creating that greatness for others. And so I've learned to delegate everything else in my business so I can do this all the time.
Yeah.
And that's most of my life, is being able to do this. So make the time, go and grab hold, maverickoffer.com. Go and set up the appointment. It's not a sales pitch. It's not a time where I'm going to upsell you and create it is a real time for you and I to get together and for me to share with you, understanding who you are and what your story is, what some of the next steps are, so that you can really create the life that you were meant to have. It is one of the pain points of my life is to watch people who have the greatest potential of the world to not only change things for themselves, change things for their family, change things for their community and their society, all going to waste. Where they don't do anything, where it's watching food go bad on the counter, knowing that there are people that could use it, knowing that there are people that are starving, and you're wasting the talents.
Wow. Wow.
And that's what I feel every day in watching people that don't take the action. You all have the greatest potential within you to create more. Let's take advantage of it. Let's find a way to make it work for you.
Man.
If you are ready today to create more potential in your life and get to the levels that you know you want to be at and you know you deserve to be at, reach out to Paul Finck today. You can go to maverickoffer.com. You can also scan the QR code in the upper corner. That'll take you to paulfinck.com.
Yes.
But his more direct offer for you right now today is at maverickoffer.com. Make sure to get over there, connect with Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and up level your life. He's the man to help you do it. So reach out to him today. Paul, we'd really like to thank you for being with us today and being our guest. It was a complete honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure. For everybody out there, man, leap long before you think you're ready. Take action long before you know it's time.
Wow.
Because you deserve it. Guys, absolute pleasure. It's been great waking up here early in the morning for you guys and hanging out. Wonderful.
Thank you, guys. Hey, if you're going to hustle, just remember to hustle faithfully. Thank you, guys.
Remain blessed and unstoppable.